Forgiven much, forgive much. What if someone owed you millions of dollars? What if they begged for mercy and you forgave every cent? Now imagine that same person walking away only to find someone who owed him a few dollars. Would he show the same mercy, or would he demand payment? Today, we discover one of the most powerful stories Jesus ever told about forgiveness: the parable of the unforgiving servant. Jesus was teaching his disciples about life in God's kingdom. One day, a question arose, a question many of us still ask today. How many times should we forgive someone who hurts us? That's when Peter stepped forward.
Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times?
Peter thought he was being generous. The religious teachers often taught forgiveness only a few times. 7 sounded like more than enough. But Jesus answered with something unexpected.
I tell you, not 7 times, but 77 times.
Jesus wasn't giving a limit. He was teaching that forgiveness should become a way of life. Then he told a story. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. One by one, servants were brought before him. Then came a man with an impossible debt, a debt so large he could never repay it, millions upon millions of dollars in today's value. The servant stood trembling before the throne.
Bring the records. How much does he owe?
Your Majesty, 10,000 talents.
The king looked at the numbers. The debt was overwhelming. There was no way the servant could pay.
Since you cannot repay what you owe, you, your wife, your children, and all you possess shall be sold. Payment must be made.
The servant fell to the ground. His future was gone. His family would lose everything. Desperate, he cried out, "Please, my lord, be patient with me. I will pay back everything." But everyone knew that was impossible. The debt was far too great. Yet, something unexpected happened. The king looked upon the servant, not with anger, not with revenge, but with compassion. Just like that, the debt vanished. No payment, no punishment, no conditions, only mercy. The servant walked away free. A burden greater than he could ever carry had been removed. But the story was not over, not even close. As the servant left the palace, he found another servant, a fellow worker, a man who owed him a small amount, only a fraction of what had just been forgiven.
You owe me money. Pay me what you owe.
The fellow servant was startled. He immediately fell to his knees.
Please be patient with me. I will repay you.
The words were almost identical. The very same plea he himself had spoken before the king. Surely he would remember the mercy he had received. Surely he would forgive. But he did not.
No! I want my money now.
Instead of showing compassion, he demanded justice. Instead of forgiveness, he demanded payment. The fellow servant continued begging, but his pleas were ignored. The unforgiving servant had him thrown into prison until the debt could be paid. Other servants witnessed everything. They saw the cruelty. They saw the hypocrisy. They knew exactly what had happened in the palace. deeply distressed, they went to the king.
Your Majesty, the servant you forgave has shown no mercy. He imprisoned a fellow servant over a small debt.
The king listened. Then he ordered the servant to be brought back.
You wicked servant. I canceled all your debt because you begged me. Shouldn't you have shown mercy to your fellow servant, just as I showed mercy to you?
The servant had received mercy, but he refused to give it. He accepted forgiveness, but would not extend forgiveness. His heart had never truly changed. The king's compassion turned to righteous judgment.
Take him away until he pays back everything he owes.
The debt returned. The consequences followed. The servant who refused mercy now faced justice.
This is how my heavenly Father will treat each of you, unless you forgive your brother or sister from your heart.
Not merely with words, not pretending, not reluctantly, but sincerely, from the heart. Because those who have received God's forgiveness are called to forgive others. The first servant represents all of us. We owe a debt to God that we could never repay. Yet through his mercy, he forgives freely, completely, fully. The question is not whether we have been forgiven. The question is, will we forgive others? Will we release the hurts, the insults, the betrayals, the wrongs committed against us? Forgiveness is not saying the hurt didn't matter. Forgiveness is choosing not to hold the debt against another person, just as God has chosen not to hold our debt against us. For those who have been forgiven much are called to forgive much. When we remember how much God has forgiven us, our hearts become willing to forgive others. Mercy received should become mercy given. A forgiven heart should be a forgiving heart.
May God fill your heart with his mercy, heal every wound caused by others, and give you the strength to forgive as he has forgiven you. May his grace free you from bitterness and lead you into peace, love, and reconciliation. If this story encouraged you, take a moment today to reflect on God's forgiveness in your own life. Is there someone you need to forgive? Ask God for the strength to release that burden. And if this message blessed you, share it with someone who needs to hear about the transforming power of forgiveness. Forgiven much, forgive much. What if someone owed you millions of dollars? What if they begged for mercy and you forgave every cent? Now imagine that same person walking away only to find someone who owed him a few dollars. Would he show the same mercy, or would he demand payment? Today, we discover one of the most powerful stories Jesus ever told about forgiveness, the parable of the unforgiving servant. Jesus was teaching his disciples about life in God's kingdom,